Hello students, welcome back to English online class. Today let's continue the lesson Discovering TUT, the saga continues by Anne Williams. So in the previous class we have discussed about the history of Tutankhamun and also how Howard Carter had tried to do the CT scan to find the mystery behind the death of Tutankhamun. Now let's continue today's class.
How many? No one knows. So we don't know there are how many mummies still in Egypt. The Egyptian Mummy Project, which began an inventory in late 2003, has recorded almost 600 so far and is still counting. So there's a project called the Egyptian Mummy Project. It began an inventory. Inventory means collecting the mummies. And this started in about late 2003. And it was able to collect about 600 mummies so far and is still counting. That means, and still they are continuing their work to discover more mummies. The next phase is scanning the mummies with a portable CT machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens, its manufacturer. So this project, what is the first thing? First thing is they have to discover the mummies, and second thing is to scan the mummies to find out all the mysteries surrounding the mummies. So the machine, the CT scan, is actually donated by the National Geographic Society, and the manufacturer of this machine is Siemens. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. So King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death. So just like how we scan the bodies during the lifetime, so here King Tut's body is one of the first mummies to be scanned, and he is first among his countrymen because all the other mummies are still to be discovered. So regally moving ahead means royally moving ahead of others. A CT machine scanned the mummy head to toe. So the CT machine was able to scan the mummy from head to toe, and it created 1700 digital X-ray images in cross section. So it was able to show 1700 digital X-ray images. So such was the precision. It was so clear. Tut's head scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices to register its intricate structures. So the head of Tut was scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices. So the measurement of the image was just 0.62 millimeters, and it was able to register the intricate structures, means it was able to show all the fine details of the head, and it takes on the eerie detail in resulting image. And finally, when the result was given, every fine detail, that means every eerie detail means every strange detail was shown in the resulting image, with Tut's entire body similarly recorded. So the whole body of Tut was scanned in a similar fashion. A team of specialists, so who were doing the scanning? A team of people. So who all did they consist of? A radiologist, forensics people, anatomy. They began to probe the secrets. So they started looking into the secrets. What are the secrets they are trying to find out? How old was Tut when he died, and how did he die? So they wanted to find out this. So that is why they were scanning the body. And they began to probe the secrets that winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. So they wanted to find out the details of this body that was protected by the winged goddesses in a burial ground, in a burial shrine. The night of the scan, workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box. So on the night of the scan, on the night when the scan must be done, the workmen carried the body from his tomb into the scanning machine. Like pallbearers, they climbed a ramp and a flight of stairs into the swirling sand outside. Like pallbearers. Who are pallbearers? The one who carries the dead body. So they are called the pallbearers. So they were like pallbearers. They were holding the body of Tut, and they climbed a flight of stairs, because we know this tomb was some 26 feet below the ground. So they climbed up the stairs, and when they came out, what was the environment outside? We know that there were angry dust devils. So there was swirling wind outside. The sand was flying around, and then rose a hydraulic lift into the trailer that held the scanner. And then they put the body into the scanner. The scanner was actually a mobile scanner and they put the body into it. 20 minutes later, two men emerged, sprinted for an office nearby, and returned with a pair of white plastic fans. So, as soon as they put the body inside, what happened? Two men came running. Why they came running? Because they wanted they wanted a pair of plastic fans. The $1 million scanner had quit because of sand in a cooler fan. So why they wanted this plastic fans? Because the sand had entered into their cooler fans and it had stopped working. The scanner had stopped working. Curse of the Pharaoh, joked a guard nervously. So one of the guards who was standing there, he joked. What did he say? See, the fan is not working because it is the curse of the Pharaoh. Because you're trying to disturb the Pharaoh, so that is why the fan is not working. Eventually, the substitute fans worked well enough to finish the procedure. So the substitute plastic fans which they got was able to do the job and the scanning was over. After checking that no data had been lost, the technicians turned TUT over to the workmen who carried him back to his tomb. So after the scanning was over, TUT's body was taken back to the tomb. Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, the Pharaoh again rested in peace where the funerary priests had laid him so long ago. So for 3 hours the body was out for scanning, and after that it was back into its tomb where the funerary priest had laid him. So back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images of TUT on a computer screen. So trailer here is the mobile scanner, that van which had the machine and all that. So in that the technician pulled out some astonishing images. They were so astonishing, they were so surprising because every detail was very clear. So the screen, on the computer screen, they could see the images of King Tut. A grey head took shape from a scattering of pixels, so they could see the shape of the head of the mummy, and the technician spun and tilted it in every direction. So we know that CT scan can give us a 3D image. So here also they were able to look at the 3D image of King Tut's head. The neck vertebrae appeared as clearly in an anatomy class. So the neck vertebrae, the neck bone was very clear. Anatomy class is where you study the body parts. So it is as clear as that. Other images revealed a hand, several views of the rib cage and the transection of the skull. So different parts of the body was clearly visible, including the skull. But for now the pressure was off. So now the pressure was off. The Sahi Hawass who was doing this project, who was overlooking this, was tense till now because he was worried about the safety of the body. He was worried about the result, what he is going to get. But now when the scanning was over and when he looked at the images, he says the pressure was off. So there was no pressure at all. Sitting back in his chair, Zahi Hawass smiled, visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. So he was relieved that everything was well and there was nothing seriously wrong. I didn't sleep last night, not for a second, he said. So because of these pressures that he had, so he was not able to sleep last night, but now he feels very relieved. I was so worried, but now I think I will go and sleep. So Zahi Hawass feels that he will be able to sleep now because he is relieved, and he has been thinking too much and he understood there is nothing wrong, and so he says that he is going to sleep. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. So as soon as the trailer left and as soon as the body was laid back to its place, the wind stopped. So everything was like normal again. The winter air lay cold and still like death itself in this valley of the departed. So in this valley of the departed means people who died. So in that the air was still very cold and everything was very still. Just above the entrance of Tut's tomb stood Orion. So always, you could always find this constellation Orion just above Tut's tomb. What is constellation? A group of stars. And this constellation, the Egyptians believed, is the soul of Osiris. Who is Osiris? It is the god of afterlife. So they thought that this god was always watching over the boy king. So they thought that he was being guarded by the tomb of Tut was guarded by the soul of Osiris. So at the end of the CT scan, Zahi Hawass was feeling relieved because he understood that nothing seriously had gone wrong with King Tut.
Hope you have understood the lesson discovering TUT. The saga continues. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Let's discuss in the class. Thank you all.